All right, so we're here in the Mach-E, gonna try a parallel park. I've never actually tried this with this car other than one time before we're shooting this video. There's a parking button here that you push and this parking menu comes up. So there's navigate to parking and parking assistance. So navigate to parking will bring up like public parking options nearby. But if we go back, parking assistance, this is the one to use to parallel park. And we have the option selected where we're going to back into a space. Now, these other options, this one is if you wanted to back into a more traditional parking space. This one is if you're parallel parked already and you want some help exiting around the vehicles. So this is probably the option you're going to use most often. And so it's the one we're going to try. Just with some trial and error doing this, we figured out it seems like it scans for vehicles and it's really not looking much at the blinds, if at all. So it seems to kind of find a spot if there's no vehicle around, but there's really no rhyme or reason to where it parks. So it's using a parked vehicle as a reference to do the parking. So I'm going to put my blinker on now and keep moving forward, and it's going to eventually find a spot. So it says space found, and this is roughly where it typically finds it, next to the parked car. So I shift into neutral and foot's off the brake, hands off the wheel, and then I press and hold this parking button. So I hold that, and now the wheel's gonna turn, the car's moving, and it's straightening out, and it's very nerve-wracking right there as it's going by the car. Kind of as you're like at a 45-degree angle with the car you're parking next to, it just, from the driver perspective, it feels very close. Okay, now it's moving forward. Still moving forward. Okay, now it stopped, and then it'll give you this little checkered flag that it finished. But let me show you, let's go back to the camera. So you can see where we parked. You can see just where the line is, where the other car is, and where the line behind me is. So if I go into reverse and back up here a little bit, obviously I'd want to be more like this for this particular space, but it's doing everything based on the other, where the other vehicle is. Now there's some other spaces here that are totally available. There's no other vehicles, and it's saying scanning, and you know, it's not picking these up that these are available. It's looking for vehicles to park near. Let's flip around here, because we did get it to park once in this hash marked space. So we're gonna move around here. And now this is gonna be more like, so use turn signal. So now it knows I'm looking for on my left this time instead of on my right. So the graphic is helpful there. And pretty sure it's gonna tell me a space is available behind this vehicle, but let's see what happens. Okay, space found. We're gonna do all the same stuff as before. And we're parking. Now this side is gonna be a little easier for me because it's on my side. So I'm able to see where the front of the car is a lot better that time. And that was way less scary that time. It's more of that passenger side where the right front of the car is a little harder to see. And then it's gonna move forward, and it's pretty much ignoring the line again. It's still going, and it says done there. That felt better from a steering perspective and where the car was. It's probably about the same distance as it was backing up the other way, but it just, how it feels when you're behind the wheel, how fast the wheel moves, how fast the car is moving. It's a little nerve-wracking if you're not confident in it. Maybe a little more trial and error with that, you would get more comfortable with it, but it's just hard to imagine being on a busy street and going through that sequence and hitting the button and just letting it do the whole thing and not being worried about it. Yeah, so just a few final thoughts. You know, as I was editing the video, you can see from the outside camera view that there's really plenty of room between the parked car and the passenger side here on the Mach-E. You can also see that from the 360 camera inside the car. So if you're trying out the feature, I would just encourage you to pay attention to that. Obviously pay attention to your surroundings as well, but you can get a pretty good sense there that, yeah, you do have plenty of room. The other thing is if you parallel park a lot, this probably feels pretty mild and maybe even feels natural. I think for me, I don't parallel park very often. You know, especially when the Mach-E came out, it was very difficult to get parts. They weren't around, and so the last thing I want to do is run into something else and have to get it repaired using this feature the first time. So if you're like me, you know, maybe try the feature out in somewhere where there's not a lot of traffic and you have plenty of time to try it out a few times and get comfortable with it. Keep in mind you will have to use at least one other parked car near the Mach-E for it to work, since all of the sensors and cameras are based on, you know, a parked car and not on lines on the road. And one more thing, I'm going to be doing a maintenance video update here soon on the Mach-E, so subscribe if you'd like to see that. And thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.